Good day, everyone. It's your favorite host again, Al Height with Anska and the Al Height Show. You see it up there in the corner there. Yeah, that corner right there. Anska, American National High School Championship Association. You guys that's been following me for a while, you know what that's all about. We help out students from all over the world. If they love education, we love them. If they don't love education, we love them. We want to give them every opportunity to succeed. Today, folks, I have a very, very special guest, a beautiful guest, a person that I know for quite some time. And listen, when you get a chance to hear her story and learn a little bit about what her organization does, you're going to be just amazed. So we're interviewing Miss Christy Buck today out of the Be Nice program. And so here shortly, she's going to have an opportunity to tell you a little bit about what we and what she does for our students, and not just the students. In fact, I'm sure anyone who needs help, she's there for them. But in particular, for students at Be Nice that we're going to look at. So, with that being said, you guys know that we have a few upcoming events here for ANSCA, and so the 2nd of August. We have a speech contest going on. So if you're into speaking and you love to be a great speaker, orator, and moms, dads, parents, guardians, if you know some youngster that's in the 6th to the 12th grade and they are a great orator or would like to be a speaker, look us up on ANHSCA, ANHSCA.com to find out about the Speech Master Course. Of course, on the 9th of August, we have the rodeo, basketball rodeo for those kids who love to play basketball, and we're going to have some special guests there. You don't want to miss that. I can tell you this much. They are a professional basketball player and some great coaches from colleges. You may not want to miss it. So go on there and register for our upcoming rodeo event at ANSCA as well. And a couple more things. Look, you guys heard me say this before. The Shark Tank. The Shark Tank, well, we have our own tank, the Octa Tank, because kids go all over the place, right? The Octa Tank. So we have the Octa Tank for kids, young entrepreneurs, those kids who want to be business people, want to learn how to make money, and they have a great mind, a great project that they like. Last year, we partnered up with Chick-fil-A and a few other great companies, and they help these students get started in their business. So I would ask you to take a look at that, and that's going to be on August the 16th. So wherever you are, you can do it online. We do it online for you. August 16th, the Octa Tank. Go online, sign up now, 6th to 12th grade. Lastly, this is for everyone. On the 23rd of August, we are having our National Education Symposium. We do it once a year. You get a chance to find out what's new in education, what's going on. We want to make sure that we help out all of our parents and guardians, any students that's looking to be educated and want to do things differently and to be very involved in education. We can't keep doing the same thing and expect something different. So we have to do something different to get something different. All right, enough of my pontificating. With that being said, I would love to introduce my beautiful good friend and my guest, Miss Christy Buck from Be Nice program. Good day, Christy. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to be here today.
Absolutely. Well, who else could I be without you?
Right.
All right. So, Christy, let's tell the world a little bit about yourself before you go into the Be Nice program.
Okay. My name is Christy Buck, and my maiden name is actually Tzilimigris, and that's Greek. So I am 100% Greek. I was born in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I attended Grand Rapids Public Schools, and I went to high school with our host today. So that's part of my background. But went to Michigan State University, and I ended up becoming a social worker and entered into the field of mental health 38 years ago. So I've seen a lot. I've worked a lot in as a clinician, and then I've also worked most of my life now as an educator in the world of mental health awareness, suicide prevention.
Outstanding, Chrissy. And absolutely, she did go to Michigan State, but in our house, we are the Wolverines. So we go to the University of Michigan in our house. But that's okay. We love our little sisters anyway. Although they won't want to be called that.
Right, Al. I'm gonna have to hang up. Okay.
Oh, don't
Okay.
do that. All right. We still love you guys, Michigan State. Don't take offense. I don't want to get the emails from you guys. We love you. Okay. We love you. All right. Great, great, great. Outstanding, Christy. So I put a few questions on here, put my glasses on because I want to ask you a few things that you can tell us a little bit about Be Nice. Tell us what Be Nice is and how you got started with that.
Sure. So, about back in 2005, I actually created another program, and it was called Live, Laugh, Love, Educating Our Youth About Mental Health. So that program was created to go into classrooms and 8 lessons where we would go in and teach how to recognize and see what a mental health disorder is. A lot of the presentation was about statistics regarding mental illness. A lot of it was about what we could recognize in someone if I was concerned about someone. How would I start up a conversation if I thought somebody was thinking and contemplating to take their life? So that program was well received. We were in about 15 different high schools for full year. So it would be 8 lessons all day long, 8 weeks in a row. And so that was amazing, amazing work that we were doing at a time where people still were not implementing this type of programming in schools. So in 2010, we faced a situation that got national attention, and this was the death by suicide of a young man from Rutgers University. And his name was Tyler Clemente. And Tyler experienced a horrible, horrible situation with how he was treated by his college roommate. And Tyler had most recently started his freshman year at Rutgers. And no sooner did he ask his roommate to potentially maybe step out for the evening, I wanted to invite a new friend that we're forming a relationship with to our room. And so the roommate abided, said, yeah, 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 go for it. Great. Well, little did Tyler know that this boy had set up cameras and videos in the room to tape whatever was going to happen that night. So, what he did with the videos is he put them on social media and broadcasted it out to everybody. Because when we look at social media, Al, we know that social media is everybody because it lands in
Mm,
the hands of so many people. So
mm,
this devastating situation had a tremendous effect on Tyler's mental health. And what happened is this young man was facing embarrassment and shame that he didn't know who to talk to. He didn't know where to go get help. He took his life. So that incident made national news, and a lot of people got on board. Famous people, Jennifer Aniston, Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah. And what they were focusing on was Tyler's risk factor, and that was that he was gay. And that is a risk factor. That's a risk factor that brings people to harass and bully a population of people. But then in addition, there are so many other risk factors. So we couldn't forget this. We remembered that how we treat each other ultimately has an effect on our mental health. So if someone is experiencing bankruptcy, if someone is experiencing the death of a family member, if someone is experiencing a new diagnosis of a terminal illness, if someone is experiencing stress from my grades, from the sport I play, those are all risk factors. So everybody and anybody could be experiencing something going on with their mental health every day of my life. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to be nice. I'm going to know that every interaction that I have with any individual could potentially be that one interaction that could make a difference in a person's life. That's a difference positively, amen, right? Being nice, but also by not being nice, that could have an effect on that person's mental health. So we created, we put it on a t-shirt, and I literally, it was in my head. I came back to the office. I said, our response to this national incident is going to be nice, period. So we sold thousands of t-shirts, 10,000 t-shirts. So who was buying the shirts? It was all the schools where we were doing this Live, Laugh, Love program. Everybody was embracing the concept of be nice, right? And the message behind it was treat people with civility, with kindness, with consideration, empathy. All right. So no sooner had we done that, we were wearing these shirts, I received a phone call from an elementary school to put together an assembly. Would you be interested in doing an assembly about being nice? And I'm like, yeah, we can do that, right? The message is going to be about knowing that how we treat someone has an effect on their mental health, on their brain. That was always the message. So it was super well received. And no sooner from that assembly than we got asked to do another assembly. And now we're going, okay, we're not in the assembly business. Those are things that are one and done. You come in, hip, hip, you leave. That's it. You fire people up for the moment, right? We need sustainable programming behind Be Nice. So with Be Nice came a creation of an action plan. And it was, we were going into another school for an assembly, but now we had an action plan that went with the program. Notice, invite, challenge, empower. Notice good, right, so that I can notice differences. If I notice good, right about people, about places, about where I shop, where I do my business, right, then I know they're being nice. I'm going to keep going there, right? I'm going to spread kindness. Notice the good, the right. Now I'm ready to notice differences. I'm ready to notice when something isn't right. Maybe it's in someone's mental health, ultimately. I'm going to notice those changes. I'm going to notice when something happens on social media and someone is harassed. I'm going to move into the next step of the action plan. I'm going to invite myself to have a conversation with, maybe it's that individual. Maybe as a high school student, I need to invite myself into a conversation with a teacher to let them know what I'm noticing in this student. Maybe it's reaching out to my mom and dad to have them report to the school what's going on. Everybody needs to be on board to notice differences. I'm going to invite myself in. I'm going to challenge that person potentially with resources that are available to them. Maybe they don't even know that in our school we have counselors, we have social workers. Maybe they don't know that there's a suicide prevention crisis help line that I can call 24/7, 988. Maybe they don't know that there's a texting mechanism too, 741-741. At the C stage, I'm going to empower myself to give these resources to this person. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be nice. And then ultimately, E is empowerment. So through my help, with my love and my support, I'm empowering that individual to access their protective factors. Protective factors are those things that I can put in my life right now to lessen the risk of those mental health challenges, mental illness. Top two being, do I have access to resources and am I using those resources, right? Am I using that 988? I want to be that friend that helps empower that person. And then other things, being part of a club, an organization, inviting people to be part of a club organization, being around friends that make you feel good. Can I be that friend? I'm going to empower that friend of mine to know that I'm your friend. I'm here, thick and thin, man. Good, right, good, right. So that's what Be Nice is. And so we created a kit. We now have a sustainable model for the Mental Health Foundation, which is the owner of Be Nice. So 25% of funds that come into the Mental Health Foundation are service fees that are paid for by businesses to do Be Nice also, Al. We have a Be Nice business program now. We created that in 2018 and perfected it by 2022. So schools pay a minimal charge to bring Be Nice into their school. And then we also have grants and foundations and donors that pick up the rest of the tab on the program. So we've been at this since 2011. And we are right now, we had a little bit of a lull during COVID. We lost some of our partner schools, but we're amping up again. So at our highest point, when we had the most schools, we were at 180 and it dipped during COVID to 90. And now we're making our way back up. So we're at about 125 schools.
Outstanding,
Yeah, it
outstanding,
is.
outstanding, Chris.
We're in 80 companies. And some of our largest companies that we're in are some grocery store chains, along with two healthcare systems here on the west side of Michigan. We've branched out. We're also on the east side. We have locations in Texas that do our programs also, schools. And then we also have an amazing collaboration with the Michigan High School Athletic Association.
Great.
Every coach in the state of Michigan, when they do their required online training, we are the mental health piece of the training. So we're in our 7th year with that collaboration. It's been incredible, and that has now extended into New Jersey, Virginia, and Alaska with that particular program. So we're growing in that athletic sector in that space.
Outstanding. You know what? I love to hear that. And just to mention, from my own personal view of Miss Christy Chekamigris,
Yeah, right.
back from high school days, she's always been a person that was outgoing, love for people, and love to see things done right. And we recently just had and I say we, our Christy and myself and many of our high school mates had a recent reunion, our 45th, in fact. And so I was happy to see a lot of folks and think back on that. And so we can think back on some of our own days there that kids may have been experiencing bullying or all kind of mental health issues. And we didn't have these kind of programs around to assist people. And they kept it in, because receiving mental health back then may have been a stigma. And you may have not been able to and really needed that help, but just didn't know all the things that people were going through and have an avenue. And so I am so thankful for you for having a program that reaches out to everyone. You know what? Well, even more than that, I heard you say schools, but then you said we're reaching out to anyone that needs it. That is so great because who doesn't want assistance and help? They don't know how to say it or may be embarrassed to say it. But you touched on a great point, and that is just saying a kind word to someone. Just saying, be nice. Just, I'm going to be nice to someone. And then having a slogan on the shirt. How amazing is that? And you know what? I can see you doing so much more than what you're doing. I am so proud of the organization that you have amped up and been a part of and charged out on the tip of the spear. You are a true American hero in that sense, I would say. And I just love you to dear for that. And, I'm looking forward to you doing even more things. So, Christy, I know that there was ups and downs in this. Tell me about some of the challenges and some of the rewards in setting this up.
Yeah, some of the challenges have been just a lot of people entering into a similar space. So you have different, schools that are going to look at a different program or, this year the flavor is this, next year the flavor is that. So one thing that we have though is we have to look for those challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that schools understand that Be Nice fits with any other program that you might be considered. And why it does is because our program has an action plan. And the action plan, that is the secret sauce. That is notice, invite, challenge, empower. Those are the steps. So in schools that might be implementing social emotional learning programs or PBIS, positive behavior intervention strategies, those programs, those are buzzwords in Michigan, then we need to make sure that they know that Be Nice, notice, invite, challenge, empower is an enhancer to those programs. We want kids to be able to understand how important it is to notice the good, the right in myself. Notice when I'm not feeling well myself. That is social emotional learning. That is understanding who I am as a person, understanding the challenges and how they affect me of who I am socially, emotionally, right? Then, in addition, you want people to throw out positives all the time. You want kids to understand that, man, being a good student means good grades.
Mhm.
Being kind and understanding and being civil is important to me being a really good person and how I'm going to be as an adult. Um, Passing out positives all the time makes a difference in a kid's life. I mean, it just changes it around. How I phrase something when I'm trying to get through to someone is part of the script of notice. I've noticed, I in the past, you come to class and you sit right down in your seat and you're ready. Lately, I've been noticing that you're walking in, you got your head down, you go to the back of the class, you immediately shove somebody from behind. That's not you. What's going
Mhm.
on? Help me to understand. Now, how I phrased that, I pummeled him with the positive at the beginning, right? Whoa, this is how you typically are. And now I've seen this. What is happening? Suddenly, it means a lot more than going back and saying,
Mhm.
stop shoving them. You're going to the office right now. Wait a minute. Can we get to the root? Because I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you, the minute we notice changes in someone's behavior that's different than how they typically are, we need to jump in and
Mhm.
start a conversation.
Absolutely.
And this goes right along with coming to an end of school violence and school shootings. I'm going to be honest
Mm.
with you. Following the plan, people know that after there is a school shooting, people say, I noticed this.
Mm.
That's the first word you hear.
Very true.
Well, if
Very
you
true.
notice it, right when that student began to dress differently, act differently, skip school, grades drop, making threats online. The minute I'm noticing somebody getting picked on all the time, you know what? I'm going to invite myself. I'm not going to let it go to the point where suddenly that student is struggling also. So, I think as a whole society, I mean, that's how passionate I am about notice, invite, challenge, empower, Al. I think it's really simple. And we have a pledge online where people can click to learn the action plan. You go to
Say it
benice.org.
again, Christy. Say it again for me. The acronym for Be Nice. Say it again. I love it.
Notice, invite, challenge, empower.
That's right, folks.
You're going to click on and go to the website, benice.org, and you're going to scroll and it's going to say learn the action plan. And you're going to click on it. It's me, and I've got 3 other great friends who are in the video with me leading you through the action plan. And it's 10 minutes long. And you
All
can learn
right.
notice, invite, challenge, empower. What am I looking for? And I'll be honest with you, Al, when I first started my journey after I received a promotion into a different job.
Mhm.
I thought it was the worst thing that happened in my life, that I was
Mm.
leaving this job that I loved and going out and having to run this foundation. I literally thought it was the worst thing. And my husband said, these are blessings, man.
Mm.
But I took what I had learned in my former job and also what I learned in my life. And that's where I said, I'm on a mission to go out and
Wow.
reduce stigma. So I grew up in a home where I had a mom who struggled with mental illness, and she had clinical depression with psychotic features. And my mom got very sick when I was in my freshman year, my sophomore year of high school.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she ended up in a psychiatric hospital
Mm.
for most of the rest of my year. So the rest of my junior and senior year, my mom was in and out of psychiatric hospitals.
Mhm.
And no one knew this at my high school. I couldn't talk about it. I
Mhm.
wrote about it in my journal to my my teacher, and he would comment to me, "You are so strong."
Mm.
He would write that back to me. And it
Mm.
really impacted my life.
Mhm.
And I still didn't know what my mom had because we didn't talk about it as a family. It's just she was in and out of hospitals. And one time when I was in high school, and this was still my junior year, didn't have my driver's license yet. I was terrified. I had left the door. I had left for school that day. I had a friend that dropped me off every day. He would pick me up and drop me off. He went to Central High School and then CC. I arrived and I was terrified that my mom was going to kill herself. And I had a friend drive
Mhm.
me home. She was the only friend that had her driver's license at that time. And she
Mhm.
said, I'm going to your house with you. Let's go. So we left and we skipped the next hour and went to my house. I was terrified and walked in, and there was my mom still in bed where I had left her. So, when I finally realized, and that was probably when I was about 26 years old, that my mom had this illness with a population that I'm now working with, I took the next step in my life, and that was to take her story and my story of growing up in a home where I was raised by someone that struggled.
Mhm.
And when my mom received good treatment and good medications, she got better. And she was still sick the rest of her life, but she was able to go back to work. She was able to have a job and put my sister and I all through college. She was able to support me through my journey with my job. And then when I had kids, she was a great provider of babysitting to my kids. So the stigma was released from our house because we were able to talk about the illness also.
Mhm. Mhm.
So those are important milestones in my life of where I got and how, God provided me with all of these challenges throughout my life to do exactly what I'm doing right now. And that is being in
Wow.
place.
Wow. So listen, folks, if you're not listening to the Al Height Show and you've seen this great program, I don't know what else to say. You just heard a beautiful person tell about their stories. And every time that you see someone that's doing something in life, I guarantee you they went through something. A lot of people talk about folks who are rich and wealthy and they're doing all these different things. We don't know what they did to get there. There was a song that used to say, "You paid the price to be the boss." Okay. And so, when you see someone, just because you see them happy or they look like they have a lot of possessions, you never know what's going on in their mind and
Mhm.
what it took to get there. And I'm so glad that Christy, my good friend, had an opportunity to share this about her own personal life. I went to school with Christy. I didn't know all those things. All I knew her as to be a beautiful, beautiful lady. Always was so kind to me. And we have many pictures together that we did different things. So I am so excited that she has chosen our show to relay some of her messages. Christy, I just wanted to say, well done.
Thank you so
We
much.
all, for us who are believers, and I'll say this for folks who are believers, that we always want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. And so, we don't have to wait to do something terrible happen in our life to do something good. Be nice. Be kind. Notice, invite, challenge, invite them. Do those things that Christy mentioned. We're going to have her information up at the end of our show that you'll be able to go on to and review, find out more information about her. I encourage you to do so. If you're having a mental health challenge, seek help. Okay, as you can see, there's people there that love you, that want to care for you, that want to help you through this. There is no reason for you not to be a viable citizen or person in this community. There is help for you. And I mean for everyone. We all have challenges. We all have our special needs that we go through. There is no one perfect person that's on this earth right now. We all go through challenges. And I just want to say thank you again to my beautiful friend, Christy Buck, for doing what she does with the Be Nice organization. And there's many more things to find out about Christy. If you want to look on her website, benice.org, find out more about what they're doing, especially if they're in the community. If you're listening to us and you're in California, Alaska, wherever you may be in the world, and we would encourage you get a hold of Christy so that she can help you out in your schools, in your community, and use her basic plan. And please, please, folks, be nice. Be nice.
Amen.
Christy, I want to say thank you again for joining us on the Al Height Show with our great sponsor, Anska. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you again. And we're definitely going to push everything we can about Be Nice, as I always do. Not because you're just my friend, because it is a great organization. And what a simple phrase for a powerful meaning. So thank you again. So Christy, with that, I want to say thank you for joining our show. I appreciate everything that you're doing. Continue the good work. Well done, my good and faithful friend, Christy.
Thank you.
And folks, for all the rest of you that are out there listening to the Al Height Show, hey, we did it again. Knocked that out of the park. As we say in our Grand Rapids area, the White Caps hit that wave, right? And we're
I
going to
love
knock
it.
it out of the park for you guys who don't know about that. You can look that up too. But anyway, I wanted to say thank you again to my special guest today, Christy Buck from Be Nice program. Again, I encourage you to look her up. Folks, with that being said, as you always know that I do, I always say a word of good wisdom before we leave. And that is today, I can't go without saying it, be nice. Be kind, be gentle, be patient, slow to anger, and quick to assist when possible. Reflect. Look in that mirror. When you say something, would you say that to yourself? If you have a daughter or a son, would you treat them that way? A mother or father? Be nice, guys. Be kind, be loving, be understanding. And if you need to take a break, take time out for yourself. Be nice. Thank you again to the Al Height Show. Look at those things that's coming up there. You're looking at commercial. See all the things that are happening. Thank you, folks. We'll see you again. And to my special guest, we love you, Christy Buck. Have a
Thank
great day
you.
and be nice.